is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Dudes Who Bet Daily, March 19th, 2023. We've got another set of college basketball games, so we're going to talk quite a bit about those. And because of the early start times, we're going to jump right on into it here. So we're going to start out here with Pitt versus Xavier. Xavier laying 5 most places, total sitting at 147.5. Really interesting game to kick off the slate today, Papa Dude. I know you had a lean on this one. Do you want to start us off here?
Well, I was going to go with Pitt. And I've been round and round and round and round. And I talking to you, and then I was thinking to myself too, Pitt has not played anybody that can score. And everybody's kind of looking at Pitt like they're this great defensive team, and they're not. They weren't in the regular season. Who was done? Iowa State was just anemic. It was pathetic, the worst I've ever seen. And when Iowa State's not shooting, anybody can beat them. I think Xavier found themselves great comeback the other night. They were really in trouble. You had that game nailed with Kennesaw State, and they made a comeback. And sometimes those teams, when they make those runs, they come out the next night and play very well. So I've changed my mind. I was going to go with Pitt. A lot of experts are going with Pitt today. I think Xavier's going to come out smoking and get them.
Good decision, Papa Dude. I like Xavier quite a bit here. Dr. Tang on Xavier as well as Xavier and FIAU is his best bet. Actually, not going to talk about the FAU game, so if you guys want to chime in there when we talk about this one, go for it. I think Xavier's the right side here. You mentioned how Iowa State just anemic on offense. It was 22-2 at one point in the first half for Pittsburgh against Iowa State. It wasn't because Pittsburgh was playing great defense. It's because Iowa State just could not put the ball in the basket. They made a run at the end of the first half. And then they scored 7 points the first 13 minutes of the second half. And that, again, Pittsburgh's been giving up 70 points a game this season. That's just an anomaly as to what their whole season's been. I think Xavier, who is really good at moving the basketball, very good assist to field goal made ratio team, should have no trouble cutting up this Pittsburgh defense. So give me Xavier -5. I just played under 69.5 first half as well, because I think this total, specifically for the first half, a little high for the early game. Aaron, where'd you go here?
I'm going Xavier. I'll go a clean sweep here with Xavier. I took a -5 here. I just think they're a better team than Pittsburgh. All year long, Xavier has been able to really score, and I think they're going to score again today. They were in trouble. Papa Dude kind of mentioned it. Sometimes those teams, when they get in trouble in a game like that and they come back and win, it really kind of gets them going, gets them catapulted, and give them a little bit of confidence. Give me Xavier -5 today.
Do you think this line is a little lower because of that Kennesaw State game?
Sure.
No question. I think Pittsburgh, they've played pretty well too. And so I think that has a little bit to do with it as well. But I don't think there's any doubt. You got that first game, and a team that, relatively unheard of for people that don't follow college basketball. And they see, boy, they were in trouble. And a lot of people had Kennesaw already penciled in. Like, that game was close to being over. So I think it does bring up a big factor.
Be interesting to see what happens here. This is the early tip, so be ready with your bets there. This one goes off in about 2 minutes. All right, let's jump over to the only higher seed who is favored today. Kentucky laying 3 against Kansas State. Total sitting at 143.5. Papa Dude, you love these blue bloods. Well, here you go. Kentucky from the 6th seed trying to make another run. Tons of talent on this team, but K-State's been solid all year as well. Who do you like here, Papa Dude?
I think this is a classic example of a blue blood being favored against a team that's not there very often. I'm staying totally away from this one. I don't know how to read Kentucky. At times they really look good, and other times they don't. They've been playing pretty well. If I was going to bet, I'd bet them, because I'm not sure Kansas State can beat them because they're Kentucky. But I kind of think K-State's better. So I'm kind of on around here, because that means I'm staying totally away from this game. I don't have a good feel on it. If I was going to bet, I'd take Kentucky, but I'm not comfortable doing it.
Yeah, I haven't bet this game. I would take the 3 with Kansas State if I was going to bet it, but I'm going to wait and see what happens in game here. I actually like the under 143.5 more than anything else in here. That's where I would end up if I was going to play this one. We'll see what happens closer to tip, if I make a decision on it. But to me, the under 143.5 is the move here. Aaron, what do you like?
I'm going to go the opposite of you. I'm going to go Kentucky. I have confidence in them to get the job done. The SEC teams have really shown up and played well in this tournament so far. You saw Alabama, you saw Arkansas. Auburn gave Houston a big scare before their coaching, kind of set in and cost them like it always does. So, but you're not going to have bad coaching in this Kentucky game. Big 12 ain't been good, guys. Give me Kentucky. I'll take Kentucky in this one.
Yeah, Big 12, one of the bigger disappointments so far here. I mean, the Big 10 actually playing decently well, obviously loses Purdue, but the Big 12 it really struggled. The loss of Kansas hurt them. Texas did look good yesterday, though, so we'll see if they're able to kind of keep it rolling and hold that flag for the Big 12. The SEC been phenomenal. Missouri let me down yesterday. Kind of bummed about that. Other than that, SEC been very good. Let's jump over to what to me is one of the more interesting matchups in the card here. You got Michigan State heading to take on Marquette. Marquette laying 3, total sitting at 139. Aaron, we'll start off with you this time. Where are you going on this one?
It's funny you mentioned Missouri. I never remember that Missouri's in the SEC. I don't count them. So that did not count against the SEC in my book yesterday. Listen, sorry, Somich. Marquette, I just think they're a little bit better than Michigan State. I think you've got a Michigan State team that's a tough out without any doubt, but I think the better basketball players and the better athletes are on Marquette. They've had a great season. They've got great guard play. I think they're going to get it done here. If I was a Marquette fan, I certainly would be a little bit nervous going into this one because it's always tough to beat these guys in the tournament. End of the day, though, I just think they're better. Give me Marquette minus the 3 here. Scary game, though.
I threw Marquette on a money line parlay here. I didn't want to lay the 3, but I thought the money line on Marquette was the safer way to go. So I threw them as one of a 2-team money line parlay with Gonzaga, who I think also will get the job done. We'll talk more about that game a little bit later. Marquette, one of my Final Four teams, which all 4 are somehow still alive. Pretty proud of that fact that we've still got all 4 of those guys kicking. Hopefully Marquette can get through and get it done today. Papa Dude, who do you like here?
It's amazing you have 4 left. That's a very good thing.
Bullets, baby. That's all it is.
Yes, it's kind of the same as Kentucky and K-State. It's the same thing. You got a great tournament team in Michigan State going against a team that's been there. Marquette's been there. You know, they got tradition. I think I'll go on with you guys. I think they're better than Michigan State. I don't think this is a great Michigan State team. That bracket is there for Marquette. It's there. And it was really there before it ever started because this bracket was awful.
Yep.
And now that Duke is out, and by the way, they stunk it up yesterday. I like Marquette too. One thing on the Big 8 or Big 12 that Aaron and I have talked about a lot, I didn't think they would do real well in this tournament because when you're in a conference where you're knocking each other off every night, by the time you get to this, you've had it. You're wore out physically and everything else. Kansas getting beat really hurt them, though. But, yeah, I think that's been part of their problem, and maybe they're not as good as they say they are. That could be too.
Yeah, you kind of see 1 or 2 conferences that you expect to be good just falter in these tournaments. The Pac-12 also has not been as strong as I think everyone thought with Arizona, especially going out there in the first round. Although Princeton, I guess, said, hey, we're a pretty good team here sitting in the 15 line. Hey, I still can't. I mean, I bet Yale against Princeton in the final game.
Yeah, absolutely.
The committee had Yale penciled in as a 13.
Yeah.
And when Princeton won that game, they dropped Princeton to a 15. They rarely do that because the Ivy League tournament is on Sunday, selection Sunday. The final is. So it's usually they're just going to have whoever wins that is going to be in that spot. Yeah. They thought so little of Princeton, they dropped them 8 places. And now Princeton has 2 wins. Absolutely wild there. All right, let's go to the game who I like. This is the one I'm most interested in today because I'm not sure how this one's going to go here. We got St. Mary's taking on UConn. UConn laying the 4. Total it's sitting at 126. Wildly low after the UConn total was wildly high. St. Mary's is going to try and slow this down a little bit for quite a few points here. And what are you doing with this one?
I am definitely going over this 126. I think it's too low of a number. So I will go over the 126. As far as a side, St. Mary's, they really surprised me in round 1. I'm going to stick with UConn, but I am wavering on a side here without any doubt. I think the Huskies, I think they're a little bit better team, but I tell you what, St. Mary's played really well in that first round. 4 points, that could go either way. I'll take UConn, but I'll definitely go over that 126. That's my big play here.
Analytically, St. Mary's was like top 15 for a lot of the year. And so for them to be a 5 seed and then obviously get the job done around 1, interesting here. I'm going to take them plus the 4. I didn't like what I saw from UConn's defense the first half against Iona, allowing Iona to shoot 60% from 3. Just wide open looks, too. They're not even contested threes. Scares the crap out of me. St. Mary's is going to ratchet up the defense here on UConn. I think this could be a battle. I'd rather take the points than lay them here. So give me St. Mary's plus the 4, although this is a beer money bet. This is not a big one for me. Papa Dude, what do you got here?
I like that.
Yeah, that's good. Every time I get on the UConn bandwagon, they let me down. They've done it two or three times. I get to thinking, hey, they're pretty good, and they may make a run, and they don't play very well. I'm with you guys. I'll say this. If it doesn't go over this total, St. Mary's is going to win, I think. So if UConn's going to win, it's got to go over that. That is really low. Look at that, 63. That's 126. Mm-hmm. St. Mary's plays at that level, though. And if they can hold it down, I think they win. I'll go St. Mary's plus the 4, but I think UConn might eke it out at the end.
Yeah, this feels correlated in a way where if you want to play St. Mary's, playing St. Mary's first half and that first half under, probably a good correlated parlay there, because if that first half goes under, you got to think St. Mary's is right there in the game. Yeah. Contrast of styles, as you said, Papa Dude, here, where if St. Mary's can control the pace, it's going to be tough for them. And you look at the games that they lost this year, it was all up and down matchups against teams like Gonzaga, where they just played too fast. And so if they're able to kind of slow it down, St. Mary's going to be awfully dangerous here. All right, let's head over to my Miami Hurricanes here. Catching 2 from Indiana. No respect continues for Miami. Total sitting at 144.5 here. Aaron, what are you doing with this one?
Well, this was the game that really made me the maddest in the first round, because I had Drake and they dominated. Well, they didn't dominate, but they were easily covering and looking to win that whole game and just choked the last 5 minutes of the game. I didn't like Miami in round 1. They won. They looked pretty good. I guess I will flip over to Miami for this one. I just feel like they're a little bit better than Indiana. I've not been a big Indiana fan all year long. Give me the Hurricanes. I'm not confident in this game much at all. I do think the total is a little high. I would go under 144.5.
Give me the Canes in the money line, baby. We have them in the bracket. Not going to change it now. I think Miami is the better team here. They should be a slight favorite, not a slight dog. So I'll take Miami on the money line here, Papa Dude. Who do you got?
I'll go along with you, too. I don't like Indiana. I don't think they can play 2 games back-to-back. I thought they looked great in their first-round game, which really surprised me. And sometimes they do. Sometimes they play well, but they don't come back the next night. Miami's on even keel. I'm with Aaron. I think that's a little high. I think Miami wants to keep this thing in the 60s. I think that's where they're comfortable. I like the Hurricanes to get this one tonight or today.
All right. We got agreement here on Miami. It'd be interesting to see if they're able to get out of there and get into the Sweet 16. Let's jump over to the race of the day. Headed out to Gulfstream Park. Race number 7. I wanted to go race number 9 because one of my favorite horses is running, Hope and Him, but unfortunately that field's scratched down, and Hope and Him is probably going to be like 3 to 5 in that spot. So we're going to head to race number 7 instead, going a mile on the turf course, $35,000 claimers. What I thought was a pretty tough race here, Aaron, but I did end up on a price. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting race that you picked for us here today. I think you go one of 2 ways. You lean heavy on the 6 Grape Nut Warriors, or Grape Nuts Warrior, or you try to get a little bit creative. I leaned on the favorite. I think the 6 Grape Nuts Warrior is going to be pretty tough to beat in this spot. Running first off the claim for Mike Maker. The horse ran pretty well here last time out at this level. Just got beat a couple of lengths, 2 back. Nearly won at a similar level. Only got beat a neck. I just think this horse is going to run a pretty good race today. I'm a little worried about the 7 maybe getting out in front and the 6 not being able to catch him. But overall, I think Maker improves this horse a little bit. I'll take the 6.
Yeah, to me, the 6 was the conundrum here, right? Because you have a horse that wants to close on a turf course that doesn't love closers. In a race there's not a ton of pace in. And look, the horse's numbers all fit, but those were in the Chad Brown barn. And so the question then is also, is Maker going to be able to get this horse back to that Chad Brown barn level? To me, too many question marks here to take it 3 to 1. I'm going to take a little bit of an up-and-comer here. Give me the 3, Invective, 10 to 1 on the morning line. Sabelli, you get Saez riding. This horse didn't touch the turf at 2 or 3. Gets the first turf effort at 4. Runs pretty bad, really. I mean, was kind of close to the pace, but then just faded out of it. Jose Ortiz rides this one back at $20,000. They add blinkers, and the horse jumps up to a career best effort. This is going to be second time with blinkers. This is your second speed. So I think the 7 makes the lead, but I think the 7's pretty cheap up front. I'm going to take the horse sitting right behind it in this 3 horse. And if you look at that last race, they go 24 seconds to the first quarter mile. They run the rest of the race in sub 12s. That was a quick race, especially for that $20,000 level. I think the 3 sets a perfect trip. Love the pickup of Sias here. So I'm going to take the 3 Invective at 10-1 here. Papa Dude, where are you going?
Well, I didn't like anything at all in this race, so I'm not taking the favorite because I don't like the favorite that well. I'm going to go the 8, Indy Lion. I think it's getting some class relief. It's been running an allowance company most of the time. 2 starts back, finished second. 3 starts back, finished second. Didn't run real well last time, but it was an allowance. I don't see why he can't get up there. I'm going Indy Lion to win this one today. Number 8.
There we go. We got different directions here. Give me the 3, Aaron the 6, Papa Dude the 8. Aaron, you're shaking your head. You like the 8 a little bit?
Yeah, I think the 8's a pretty good play. I don't mind that one at all. The one we didn't talk about, who I think is the other logical alternative, is the 1. Kind of the same thing as Papa Dude with his 8. The 1, you could make the same case, getting class relief, also getting back to the turf. That could help a little bit as well. So, I don't mind. I really don't mind your pick at the 3 either, Somich. Got on the turf the first time and was just not very good. But boy, did we improve last time out. And we don't have Ortiz, but we get Sias as a replacement. That's a good pick. I can't say anything bad about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun race. What's up, Papa Dude?
Before we get off horse racing, can I give a shout out?
Has him down there.
Can I give a shout out?
Yes, you can.
No.
We got to mention Last Samurai yesterday.
Yeah.
Because we got to mention 87-year-old Dwayne Lucas.
Yeah.
Still has it, guys. Aaron and I were chatting about that. I think it was me. And I don't know who it was. But anyway, we're never going to – I don't think we'll ever see this again. Do you?
No.
An 87-year-old trainer still winning.
It's incredible that anytime we write him off, and we've done it many times, where it's like, okay, that's it. Okay, that's it. Then Secret Oath comes along, and it's like, now you've got one of the top females, and oddly enough, Last Samurai at this current moment is one of the top males. I don't think he's going to end up that way, but he's one of the better males right now that's running. I mean, he's a top 5 or 10 prospect. It's nuts.
And he hadn't been doing anything.
I don't know about top 5 or 10 prospect. We might need to pump the brakes there a little bit. I mean, he beat Classic Causeway, who was loose on the lead and is better on the turf, and nobody else in that race yesterday.
But he's won 2 in a row, and he got 4th in the Pegasus World Cup, a race that's been horses have been coming back and win from it left and right. I mean, at this current time, we don't have a lot of prospects. That's where I'm at. I know, I don't think he's a great horse, but
no,
he's there right now. Like, if they ran the Classic today, he would be there, which is crazy.
That was an interesting race yesterday. We all wanted to beat the 10, and it was tough. Like, we're just you literally spent. I know I spent 15, 20 minutes looking through there. Like, who can I take instead of the 10?
And the thing is,
I end up on the 10 though.
If that had been a Brad Cox horse or an Asmussen horse, we wouldn't have been doing that.
Right. Yep.
Because we just don't have any confidence. And he's proven us wrong. I tried to beat Secret Oath the other day.
Yeah.
Over and over. I kept saying, that horse is done.
Yeah.
I would love to know the last time there was a Lucas horse at even money over a McPeak horse at 3-1 in a grade 3 race.
Right.
With 10 horses in the field. That is
a good morning line on Classic Causeway too. 15-1 morning line.
Of course, goes off at 3-1. Real quick before we get off this topic, Aaron, you're better at this than I am. I've noticed there's been an influx of money horses into the Lucas barn. Specifically last year, it seemed like some of his owners were starting to spend some more money. He was getting $200,000, $300,000 horses. That's new. He has not been doing that the last 5 years or so. You think that's part of the resurgence here? And do you know what ownership group I'm talking about?
Yeah, there's been a couple of new ones that have gone in, and there hasn't just been one. There's been a couple. With Last Samurai, that's a Willis Horton, owned horse, which unfortunately Willis Horton passed away, but his stable's still around. Willis was with Lucas. He left, and then right before he passed away, he came back, and so that's a lot of the quality horses that he has is from Willis Horton. And then Secret Oath's owners, they've been with him forever. They just have 1 or 2 horses each year. And then he's gotten a couple more as well. Dwayne will tell you it's all about the stock. He said, hey, I'm a 10%. One year he said, I'm a 10% trainer, but I've got 4% horses. So I'm doing really well because I've got terrible horses. So,
well, one year he said, I'm in races where there's first round draft picks and I got free agents.
Yeah.
He said that 1 year too.
He's definitely a mid-major now. He's no longer a Power 5 conference kind of guy, so he's got to get it done where he can. All right, let's jump into the best bets for the day. We got two of them coming from the same game. Aaron, I'll let you kick it off, and I'll jump into my side here.
Yeah, so we'll try to do what you and Magic did yesterday. You and I'll try to team up and do it tonight. I've got Creighton Baylor under 144.5. I just think this is a touch high, guys. Creighton is a team that doesn't play overly fast. I mean, I know they can score. Same way with Baylor. I don't think they want to play overly fast. I think this game's going to be in the 60s one way or another. I just think this is going to be a little bit of a low-scoring game. I looked at the analytics of this thing. This is the one that seems mispriced to me on the board for college basketball today when it comes to over-unders. So I took Creighton Baylor under this 144.5. Just think it is a tad high.
I would tend to agree with you. Baylor can play a little bit slower than I think people expect, and Creighton doesn't necessarily run up and down the court either. I think Creighton's just a way better team here. I have Creighton as a 4-point favorite in this game, and it's lined as pick'em. So for me, this is a really easy best bet here. I think Creighton is just better than Baylor. It's really that simple to me. They've been a solid team all year. I've had this team as high as top like 15, 20, and the rankings that I've been looking at. And you have a Baylor team here who I just don't think is ready for this type of Creighton team. So I'm going to take Creighton as a pick'em here for my best bet. I thought there's just a ton of value here. So hopefully we can get Creighton in the under, much like we got Alabama in the under home to get those two done yesterday. Papa Dude, jump over to your best bet here.
All right. I've watched a lot of basketball the last couple of days. There's three teams that stand out to me right now from what I've seen. Two of them have played 2 games. Gonzaga's only played 1. One of them's Alabama, and I think they answered the bell, and they came through the first round and won 2 games. And the second half last night of the Houston game, I think we saw what they're all about, because if there was ever a team that could have choked last night, it was them. They were in huge trouble, 41-31, getting their ass handed to them by a talented Auburn team. Oh, yeah, in Birmingham, Alabama, on top of it. And they came out and beat the shit out of them in the second half, and that's why you better keep an eye on them. If they can get healthy, that was an extremely impressive thing. I was really afraid they were going to go down last night. And I don't know whether you guys heard this, but this is what makes Kelvin Sampson what he is. He went in halftime and he told those 2 injured players, you got to quit forgetting you're hurt and get out there and play. It takes some guts to do that in today's world, to tell these pampered athletes, you're not hurt. Get out there and play. And that's exactly what he did. And they did. Amazing. This is a great comeback. They're my team. The other team is Gonzaga. I thought they were very impressive towards the end of the season. They're playing great. They're playing TCU. Can we call Gonzaga a blue blood?
Yeah.
I think we can, don't you?
Yep.
TCU is not a blue blood. 4 points. I know TCU is tough. I think Gonzaga blows them out. I'm going Gonzaga -4 tonight.
Yeah, I bet Gonzaga here as well. I think they're just the better team. It's all about their defense. If they show up with a defensive intensity, they are one of the best teams in the nation. They pick their spots to show up with that defensive intensity. True. This sure feels like a spot where you show up, especially to get into the Sweet 16, knowing you're having multiple days off after this. As I would expect Gonzaga is going to put up a pretty good performance today. They were a little lackluster against Grand Canyon, specifically in the first half. They had a 16-0 run in the second half to kind of open that thing up and then didn't care again. So it's all about whether or not you get that full care effort. I think you do see that tonight from Gonzaga. Aaron, did you have any thoughts on this one before we take off?
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. I like it, guys. I think that's going to be a good one. I think they're going to get the job done as well. I really like this Gonzaga team. We talked before this thing ever started. We thought, oddly enough, this is the year they might be a little bit sneaky. So I like Gonzaga. One more thing, a shout out to Shotty, first ever pick 5. Shotty hit it last night. Her first ever pick 5 at Charlestown. A $4 ticket comes through. So congratulations.
What a day she had. What a day she had.
That was a mandatory payout pool, wasn't it?
What's that?
Wasn't that mandatory too, that Charlestown late one?
You got me. I don't know.
I think
she had a heck of a day because the Hogs came through too. So
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out to Mark Elliott as well. Someone who listens to the show often. He was at that Hogs game.
Yeah.
So he might have gotten some topless shots of that coach afterward because he ripped his shirt off and stood on the bench to do the woo pig for them. They will be headed to Vegas. So Mark heading out to Vegas as well for that Sweet 16 Elite 8 matchup. Should be a fun weekend in Vegas. You've got the Sweet 16 Elite 8 and Taylor Swift all happening this weekend in Vegas. So get ready, man.
Give me Taylor. Give me Taylor.
I'm going to be in Vegas on Saturday night, and I have the option to either go to the Sweet 16 game or go to Taylor Swift.
Oh man,
it's a tough. What do you think, Papa? What should I do?
I don't like the new Taylor Swift stuff, so I'd go to the Sweet 16.
What about you,
If
Aaron?
she did her country stuff only, I'd go to Taylor probably.
Sweet 16.
Sweet 16?
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm actually leaning Taylor Swift right now. It's close, but
Sandy has been to one of her concerts when she was just getting started before what she was now, and she had 2 or 3 hits, and I don't know where it was at, and she said that's the best concert I've been to in a long time, and she said, and she was just getting started. She goes, I have no idea what it'd be like now.
I've heard she's a phenomenal showwoman. Like the shows are just absolutely sensational. And I don't mind some of her bangers, man. She's got some catchy tunes. So I'm not gonna sit here and hate on the music either. I think it'd be fun to go check it out.
You don't mind showing your feminine side here.
Liking a woman singing songs is not feminine, Papa dude.
No. Yeah, this is a different type of woman. This is,
All right, let's go with the best bets before Papa Dude gets us in trouble. Aaron taking Creighton Baylor.
No, I love her. I love her.
Papa Dude taking Gonzaga -4. I'm going to go with Creighton. Pick 'em. Weekly record 7-7, up $120 for the week, down $18 for the year. Got to flip that to the right side. I like. Look at this, man. Taylor Swift getting a lot of love in the chat.
I like her too. I think she's fantastic, and I always have.
Not going to lie. All right. I hope everyone has a good day. Good luck. We will be back on Wednesday, same time, same place. Best bets around the sports and horse racing world. Good luck with all your bets today, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday.